What if the lives of celebrities weren't just entertainment, but were actually a secret roadmap, maybe to your own potential? Well, today we're diving into this fascinating system that promises exactly that, and it uses nothing more than a simple deck of cards and your birthday. It's a pretty wild thought, isn't it? The idea that the very public journeys of the rich and famous could somehow be a guide for our own lives? Well, that's the entire premise behind a really unique practice we're going to unpack today. So this practice is called Cardology. And here's the gist. It uses a system, kind of a mix of numerology and ancient mysticism, to link your birthday to one specific playing card. And each card holds this unique lesson, a lesson that's often perfectly illustrated by a celebrity who happens to share that same card. So we're basically distilling the key messages from a whole series that explores this. Okay, so our first big theme is all about looking inward. How do we really truly understand who we are? Let's kick things off with a sports legend. Remember that Bo Knows campaign? It was everywhere. Bo Jackson, the Three of Hearts, was an absolute phenomenon in two professional sports. And his card teaches us something so powerful. Truly know yourself. That means understanding your past, your present, and your future self, and getting them all aligned into one solid identity, no matter what anybody else says you can or can't do. The bottom line here is you have to trust your own inner knowing more than anything else. Bo just knew he could dominate in both baseball and football, even when everyone thought it was crazy. So the lesson for us, it's about trusting that gut feeling, that internal compass that's pointing you toward what you're really capable of, even if that path looks totally different from everyone else's. And then that inner knowing brings us to another key part of self-knowledge, embracing your own duality. Look at Ozzy Osbourne, the Two of Diamonds. He's the perfect example. On stage, he's the Prince of Darkness, right? But at home, he was a sentimental husband and a loving father. The lesson is that knowing yourself means accepting all of your sides, the public you, the private you, the light, and yeah, the shadow too. So once you accept all these different parts of yourself, how do you express them freely? Well, Janelle Monáe's card, the Four of Diamonds, it gives us a roadmap. It teaches that real, true creative freedom comes from decluttering. You start with your physical space, then you move on to your mind. And that's what ultimately unlocks your most authentic self. This quote from the source material, it just hits you, right? It's a nod to her album, Dirty Computer, but the message is so universal. We've all got dirty computers. Our minds are just cluttered with old beliefs, junk files of other people's opinions, messy desktops in our lives. The idea is, you clean all that up, and you create the space for your true self to finally come through. Okay, so once you know who you are, the next step is actually expressing that. Let's move on to our second theme here and see how this all builds, focusing now on the power of finding and, more importantly, using your voice. Open the line. This is the message from Britney Spears, the Three of Diamonds. I mean, for years, other people tried to control her narrative, her story, her voice. Her journey teaches us to break free from whatever or whoever is holding our tongue. It's all about opening up that channel and just letting yourself be heard, speaking your truth without having to apologize for it. But look, using your voice isn't just about being loud all the time. It's about being effective. And Miley Cyrus, the Ten of Hearts, shows us this perfectly. Her lesson is about having a punchy voice. The 10 represents an on-off switch. The 1 is on, the 0 is off. It's the art of knowing when to speak up with everything you've got and when to be silent to make the biggest impact. 15. Just let that number sink in. Before she was a global superstar, Nicki Minaj was fired from about 15 jobs, and a lot of the time it was for being too outspoken. It just goes to show you the persistence it can take to find the right place for your voice. She wasn't meant to be serving biscuits, right? She was meant to be commanding a stage. And that leads right to her core message as the 10 of Clubs, act now. Stop going back and forth, stop being indecisive. Her entire career is a testament to making quick, decisive moves and not waiting around for someone to give you permission. If you've got something to say or something to do, the time isn't tomorrow, it's not next year, the time is right now. So this brings us to our final theme, and this is where it all comes together. Knowing yourself and using your voice, those are essential. But then you have to actually walk the walk. This section is all about forging a path that is 100% yours. First up, we've got the Jack of Clubs, the legendary Larry Bird. His message is polished rookie. This guy walked into the NBA and just dominated from the very beginning. And the lesson here? You don't always have to wait for permission or pay your dues for years. If you have that inner knowing of your own talent, you can be polished right from day one.
But what if your path is just full of setbacks? The Queen of Clubs, represented here by televangelist Kenneth Copeland, gives us the lesson of failing forward. He went through 2 failed marriages before he found stability and built this massive media ministry. It's such a powerful reminder that failure isn't the end of the road. A lot of the time, it's the raw material for your biggest success.
And then you have the King of Clubs, the ultimate visionary, Walt Disney. His message is all about the height of imagination. I mean, this man literally animated his dreams and turned them into reality. This is the absolute pinnacle of forging your own path, understanding that your imagination is the actual blueprint for the world you want to build.
But hey, as you're out there forging that path, here is a critical rule to remember, and it comes to us from Trey Songz, the 5 of Hearts. Following dangerous trends just because they're popular, that is a trap. You get to define what's cool. You choose your mission, don't let the crowd dictate your style or, more importantly, your substance.
So after going through all of these incredible stories, what does it all really mean? What's the big takeaway from all this?
It really just boils down to these 3 core principles. First, know your true self, your light, your shadow, all of it. Second, find your voice and use it with intention, with real purpose. And third, forge your own path, one that's guided by your inner vision, not by what's popular. These celebrities, when you look at them through the lens of Cardology, they become these modern-day fables, teaching us timeless lessons.
And that just leaves us with one final question to think about. If a card were drawn for you right now, reflecting the lesson you need to learn at this moment, whose story would it tell? And maybe more importantly, what would you do with that wisdom?